Let them violate what they violate. But my thing is, you guys are not coming behind them and making them pay for what they're doing.
Pay for it how? What's your recourse?
You sue.
And got money.
Hold on, Billy. I want to hear what he said. Can you say what you said again, brother?
Tell me what your recourse is. All right, you said sue him, right? All right, you sue him. Who here has sued the courts and won?
This is my second one. I'm on my second one. So yes, I already beat him in one already. So
I didn't say beat him in court. I said sue him and win.
Sue him civilly, yes. I do my own paperwork. I don't have no lawyer put my stuff in. I put my own stuff in.
All right, how much did you win?
So, when do you sue them? After you sat in prison for 5 or 10 years, when you sue them? Because when they got your body, it is very hard to get out from under
I want to know. I want to clear this up. How much money did you win from them?
First of all, that's my business. Regardless, a win is a win.
Let me. What county was it in, and what's the case number? I'll go look it up.
I'll give you the case number. I'll definitely give you the case number. But again, at the end of the day, it's about how you handle your. Again, hold on. Just listen to me, and I'm gonna just send me one. That's fine, and it's bullshit because it didn't work for you. I can only speak for myself, big bro. At the end of the day, I'm telling you what's happening for me, and for me only.
You know how many crimes I've heard this?
And at the end of the day, listen, brother, listen,
none of your words is all BS, bro.
Okay, well, that is
none of y'all have sued anybody in one.
Do you know anything about accounting? Hold on, time out. Do you know anything about accounting?
No, I actually don't. That's why.
And guess what? Hold on, brother. Stop right there. Brother, please listen. Please listen. Let's have a conversation back and forward. Okay? That right there is the main reason why you are losing. Because you don't.
Here's the definition of no account. Informal. Of little or no importance, value, or use. Worthless.
Own laws. That's why this is what Billy is telling you. A lot of you are putting their laws, their statutes, their UCCs, all that stuff is their stuff. And this is why you guys are losing. And this is why I love the host is because all of this is accounting. Do you have a separation from your social security number? I'm not talking about a business. Is there an EIN number that you have right now that separates yourself from that all capitals name, that social security number? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have a banker's EIN?
No.
Okay. Do you have a grantor's trust EIN?
No.
Okay. Well, then we don't need to go no further. That's why you're losing.
I know a bunch of people that got all that shit and still got wrapped up in.
Okay. Well, again, brother, I can't speak for them. Again, this is all accounting. You just proved to me that you're not aware of accounting.
No, I don't.
It's all about accounting.
I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about all the people that make these claims and say that they've sued these courts. They haven't.
I've never heard nobody say they
y'all haven't sued anybody.
Time out. As long as I've been in this space, and I've probably been in this space way longer than you, I've never heard them say that. I've never heard that. Now, I heard a lot of cases being dropped. If they were defended, it goes away. That's a win for them. Okay? But nevertheless, a lot of people don't want to go through the headache of going, because guess what? You have to know the rules of civil procedure, because if you do one false move, they can throw your whole case out because you didn't follow the federal rules of civil procedure. Things of that nature. Again, it's all about accounting, sir. If you don't know the accounting side of it, you're going to always lose.
No, I get that. And no, that's not true. You're not going to always lose if you don't understand the accounting, because there's lots of people that got shit dismissed that don't understand accounting.
See, you just said to me, hold on. Now you're going both ways with it. You just said to me just a couple minutes ago, everybody is losing.
I haven't even started.
All right, if you're talking about constitutional law and you're talking about constitutional courts, that's different than accounting.
But you just said to me, everybody's keep losing. It's all hogwash. But now you're telling me there's a lot of people that you know win those cases. Which one is it?
It's both. All right. So listen.
Okay.
Listen.
Wait, you guys, hold on.
I don't think you
Hold on.
sued anybody, and I don't think you've won anything in court. And if you have, then drop it, and I'll apologize. But don't make claims that you sue people and won, because you haven't, bro.
Okay, you guys, hold on. Don't want the controversy. We're not supposed to bring the controversy to us. That's the problem. We're busy arguing about this when it's a lot more simpler. I am not kidding when I say it's winning and losing with them, but not with us. The accounting is what's frustrating because why? They did not put that in school. They did not put it from the beginning. It's pissing us off because we're now all just learning about it. But it really is dealing with the accounting, and it really is just knowing how to move as an accountant slash trustee slash administrator. They're administrating for you. This is the part everyone's missing. Please catch this part. When you walk into court, they are the administrators. They are saying they're working for you because you don't know what you are doing, meaning you don't know legalese, you don't know corporate laws, you don't know those things that they know because you, and believe it or not, whether it was you or not, someone petitioned, as in called them in and said, hey, I need your court. I need your assistance. Now, let's say you're over there minding your own business. Here come an invitation. Here come an offer to you saying, we need you both to come in to mediate, and we're the administrators and or arbitrate or whatever terms they're using for this matter. You are allowed at that point to say no or yes. And then here goes the kicker. Put in the paperwork. That's what you're able to do. You're able at that point to start your claim, counterclaim, if it's not you that started it, directly to the departments. Now, when I say departments, I'm meaning the IRS that's dealing with the accounting, the local area that's dealing with the accounting, the commissioners, the administrators of the state, the secretary of state. You're now moving in that manner. Now, the reason why, and I agree with Patriot said this earlier, this is all about opinions of what people have done because we all can sit down with our own personal case, because not all cases are the same, and go over and research what is going to work in our and versus corporation, however you set that up. So in the corporate side, you can have a living, let's say irrevocable, revocable trust. Let's just make that template just open right there. Okay, you got to open trust, active trust in the public. Now on your private side, let's say you got a PMA or you got a trust, okay, to protect your private side. Now, that's still debits. One is debits, one is credits. You're going to the court to settle that first. If anybody was paying attention to Donald Trump's case, what's the first thing, if you were watching what he was doing when they issued those warrants? He took care of the warrants first. He paid that. He settled the warrants. Now, I had that on here earlier today to show you, and I'm thinking about putting this back up because I think you guys need to see this again because nobody's paying attention to this, which is highly, highly important. And I need to put it up one more time about the warrants because no one's understanding that this is all just simple accounting. We do not have to be mad at each other. Yes, it's upsetting. The courts are not listening, but this is why they're not listening, because of how we're doing our bookkeeping. It starts even before you even hit the courtroom. Before you even go into that courtroom, they're on you about the accounting because they looked you up. The IRS, they drew from that paperwork from the IRS and said, bring their accounting forward. And they're looking at it themselves and going, well, this is not working for them. It sounds like what they're doing is wrong. Hold on, you guys. I'm going to put this up here because everyone needs to see about these warrants because it's easier to understand it when you see it. Okay, right here, read it. Warrant is a legal negotiable instrument drawn against the state treasury in place of a commercial bank. A warrant acts like a check and can be cashed or deposited like any other check you receive. State agencies disperse funds to vendors or other payees by issuing warrants that are signed by the state treasurer. So again, when I say departments, when I say that, you can look up the state treasurer. You're making your claim and it's private because you're sending it through the mail with your contract or your claim and saying, look, this warrant was issued. Here's my accounting. This is what I've done. I would like to be released from everything that they're saying because here is my evidence. You're doing this through mail, registered mail. Now, oh. Wow, Billy.
I didn't say that.
Who said that?
My bad. No, I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to my birds.
Who said that? Oh, wow.
That was me.
Yeah, that
My
ain't
bad. I thought I was muted
Sorry,
too.
Billy. Sorry, Billy.
Damn, that was fucked up.
That's all right.
I'm so-
I
no.
heard it too. I was like, where the hell did that come from? Yeah.
Right? I was like, wow. Okay.
No, I don't behave like that. Uh-uh.
No, my bird just
Yeah,
dusted me
I-
with all
sorry.
these with dust and feathers and shit.
Okay, keep going.
Okay, so with a bond, this is all breaking down to accounting again. Down to the bottom, it says what type of instrument is a warrant. A warrant is a derivative that give the right but not the obligation. Keep that, gosh darn it, in accounting this is so important, but not the obligation to buy or sell a security, most commonly in equity. Equity, you guys. Please, as I'm saying some of these words, like one is equity. If you don't know what that is, please Google that. That's really important. At a price before expiration. Now, the way each department do warrants, I said it before, hospital do warrants, school does warrants. Everything has a warrant. You can issue a warrant. This is the problem with why we're having this right now, while we're arguing. We don't know accounting. We don't understand the IRS. We don't understand the state treasury. If we can understand what these terms mean as we're doing accounting and we understand it, there's no need to argue or fight about it because it's them going, I'm doing debt collection. Now let me go back to the debt collection, which ends up in human trafficking. Because why? They attach, because they got tired of people not showing up to court or people saying, oh, screw you, I don't have to do whatever you're telling me to do. So what did they come up with? They used Hell versus Hinkle. I put that in the comments earlier today. Why is this so important? Why people pass this up and never look at this? And I put it in the comments just now. Hell versus Hinkle. Go look it up and put it under, when you put it in a Google search, put in unlimited contracting. This is how they were able to bypass it. They use this as their terminology and what they're fighting to go, well, you just made a contract with me. You gave up your rights. You gave up your privileges. I have every right to kind of circumvent all those laws or whatever that they say you have to abide by and I have to abide by. So it's two-party agreements that we just said screw ourselves. Now, we put ourselves in these situations where they see it as all you had to do was read and research. That's what they're saying. This is not what we're saying to each other because we're all in the same boat here. So we didn't go around and create this ourselves. Guess who did, though? The greedy professionals out there that looked at these terms and conditions and manipulated it the way they needed to get paid for the next day. They're going to keep getting paid. And how are they going to keep getting paid? Through our ignorance. How is the ignorance there? Because of accounting. Why haven't we been taught this where in school the math should have been the main event? Accounting, bookkeeping, trust, financial banking, all of that should have been in there. But why hasn't it been there? Because if we know what they're doing, we can stop it. So all we have to do is remember that accounting and bookkeeping is all they're looking at. Yes, when you go into court, they go, screw you. I don't care what you're talking about. But that's where you do your research on your case and you start your accounting in the back office. I don't care if it's federal, state, or anything. In the back is what they're looking at. When you walk into court, they already got your accounting record. They know you don't know what you're talking about or what you're doing, because if you did, your accounting would be fine. You know, everything about what you put in would be just set up right in front of their face, because they would say, oh, well, let's use example of me. Oh, well, Kiki knew what she was doing. Her books will be shown. Her accounting would be here. But it's not. They don't know what I'm doing. I'm out here just making contracts with open endorsements, signing my name with no all rights reserved, no without recourse, without prejudice. All of that is just not there. And they're like, well, we can do whatever we want with this person. And that's how they're treating you. When you walk into that courtroom and they say certain words to you, they're testing you. They're testing you to see how much you know. And if you don't know anything, they're happy because now they get to throw the book at you. And they do. When you know what they're talking about through accounting, when you get to sit down and you get to see what they are doing and you are acting accordingly in the private with accounting, with your trust, with your PMA, now you could go up against them because you got the IRS settled, you got the Secretary of State settled, you got your state treasury settled, you got your OIG settled. All of that is settled. Now, when you come in, they're going to see that your accounting is there. They're going to see that you've been doing your work, that your signatures are not open endorsed anywhere. That accounting is going to make sure that you are established. But people think, oh no, the accounting's stupid. It shouldn't matter that much. It's nothing. But it's the foundation of how they work. Some of these judges are brokers. They are brokers. I've proven this to people. I've shown the broker's manual. I put it up here. If they're brokers, that's all that matters is the accounting. That's how they get paid. So they can't get paid until that broker's terms and conditions are settled. And they're third parties to an account. Let's go to the contracts. What's more important after the accounting is the contracts. Here comes the contracts. Okay, they can't have that accounting without your consent to that contract, whether it's verbal or whether it's physical. So if you gave them the verbal, you gave them the physical, then guess what? The accounting is easy at that point. But you can close every account because it's only, that's what the circus is for, you guys. Here come the prosecutors. I'm sorry if there's any lawyers. I'm not trying to offend anybody. I am sorry. But I'm showing you the simple form of this. That's a circus. Everyone is a clown. They're putting on the clown suit to make you see that, oh, don't look, I'm juggling these balls. Don't look at what it really is. The accounting that you can settle it. Oh, and don't look at the legalese we're using in court, all these really bad words, honestly, because we should have learned that in school, too. So we're sitting here just completely ignorant, and we're going in there saying, yes, I am that person. I am that corporation. No, you're not. You wasn't born to be a corporation. Your mom didn't tell you that. And matter of fact, that's third-party information. It's something I don't know about. You're calling me something I don't understand. You're moving on a contract I don't understand. And in contract law, the contracts have to be mutually beneficial. So if they're not mutually beneficial, there's some fraud somewhere. Because you're saying I consented to something I didn't consent to.
Great job, Kiki. That was. Thank you, host.
So long story short, stay out of court. You can't go in court and settle the accounts while you're on the back end trying to settle the accounts. It's contradictory. You go into court and you start contracting with them, you're not going to be able to settle that account because they're saying, oh, you want to proceed forward on the front end. Okay, cool. You understand? Yeah, I understand. Blah, blah, blah. All this. Next thing you know, you're caught up in their position. You're not guilty, whatever. They still defaulted on everything. They're getting paid. They're making money. And you're held as collateral. You're looked at as the property of the Cesta QV Trust. So I think everybody needs to come together with one remedy and figure it out, because everybody's saying, well, you got to do this, you got to do that. No, you got to do this. You got to go in court and ask for a common law jurisdiction. As soon as you're in court, you're in their jurisdiction, bro. As soon as you step in court, you're in their jurisdiction, arguing jurisdiction. And a lot of them will
Can
tell
I
you.
ask you a question? Wait, I just want to, Kiki, based on what he just said, can we is it possible to just simplify it and strictly stick with the accounting and contract? Because everybody's talking about secured party credit. It's a million different things that people tell you. So if you were to say one thing, and this is a question for you as well, Zo News, just stick with the banking, the accounting, and contracts, and that's all we need to focus on, and all that other shit is not necessary.
Yes, very true.
All of this is like, I tell her this all the time. It was almost like an epiphany. And to answer your question, yes, you can just do the accounting, but I'm going to just say the accounting. It's all about the accounting. All of this is accounting. All they want is your money. They don't want nothing else. All they doing is raping your estate. It's all about the money. That's all it is. It's about the money, y'all. At the end of the day, the whole thing is on point.
People are talking about the office of person, and it's so much stuff. It's just too much. Okay.
And everyone's going up in court contracting with these people, and they're taking other people's advice, listening to this person said this, and I seen a video of this and this and that. All that information is like 15, 20 years old. I've heard literally everything about what you say to the judge and what you don't say to the judge, and your paperwork and what you got to submit. I've seen it all since Gene Keating came out with his prison treatise, when he blew the door wide open on all the GSA bonds and everything. Now people are reprinting that information and selling it on Amazon like it's theirs. But, you know, everybody, in my opinion, everybody needs to come together. Like, the whole movement has to come together, because everyone's separate right now. And there's a lot of agents in this thing. And they're like creating a lot of controversy and misdirection. And as soon as there's unity and people come together and we start working together and coming up with a strategy, that's when this whole thing is going to be settled. Because everyone's moving different directions right now. And the courts are trying to make examples out of people because they don't want nobody coming in there fighting. They just want you to lay down. And it's like Zo just said, it's all about the accounting. It's what Kiki's saying. It's all about the accounting. Like, give them their money. Go ahead and shut that out. And before you know it, it'll just be a streamlined business. But these people are so corrupt, man. They just want to see everybody locked up. They don't care. They just want their money. They want to go sip on their Mai Tais and their retirement from their core registry investment system retirement plan. And they're going to keep it kicking, period.
And another thing is, you're absolutely right. And when they don't get their money, guess how they're going to get their money? By your body.
Okay. But look,
your collateral. But that's the problem.
I do have a question though, because they're not just satisfied with getting their money. They kind of like to double dip. I'm gonna get your money, and I'm gonna take your body.
No, they're not going to do that, sweetie. It's because you're not doing the accounting on the back end. Okay. That's the reason why. When you're going to court and you're having a lawyer, just the mere fact that you walk in there with a lawyer, you're already telling the court that you're not competent enough to even handle your own affairs.
You just defaulted on the bonds. As soon as you get a lawyer, you default on the bonds, because now you're arguing. You're arguing.
And the problem is, you have to do it. Go ahead, sis. I'm sorry.
All I'm trying to say, and me and you in the same town, so walked in there, no attorney, defending myself, did processes before I got there, and then defended myself. I said I'm completely competent to handle my commercial affairs. And everything that was done right, the only thing that I did not do was invoke equity. So equity is what I'm studying up now, because I think that may possibly, that could be the end all be all if you invoke equity.
No, because Billy was right. Yeah, because Billy was right with that. Because, like he said, you're in an administrative court. You want to send it to the common law court where there is equity, and that's the problem of getting us all jammed up.
Or you could leave the at-law side and go to equity.
Absolutely.
Equity, you are going to get justice. And that's what I'm learning from some people. Equity, you will get justice. But that's what I was, they don't respect, but from what you guys are saying, if they didn't respect things that you put in place, then you're saying something was missed. That's what I hear you guys saying. If they didn't respond,
Yes.
to it, something had to be missed. Okay. All right. I'll accept that.
When there's a conflict between law and equity, equity will prevail.
Very true. That's what I was trying to say. Yes, it is, because a lot of people don't understand what God's law versus man's law is. So when I go and I'm disputing something, I never put the man's law with the God's law. Yes, you do. Like I said, I put C attachment to my affidavit. That's when I put in all of what they are supposed to do, what their responsibilities are, that they are going against. For instance, if I'm using the human trafficking and everything, I do an attachment of the human trafficking definitions by the Department of Justice or somewhere that they're not going to argue to go, that's a third party definition. I go to the source because I want them to see what they are doing. The Bill of Rights, the Constitution, there's 2 constitutions. Everyone got to look up those 2 constitutions. A lot of things are there that we are missing. There was, I said this in a previous live, there were where you could get a house for free before HUD kicked in. No one knew about that. There is a lot of things that we are missing that they are removing, and it's not just the bad people at the top. There are people that are ignorant to it because, like I said before when I started this live, is that somebody just want to go to work. They don't want no problems. They just want to get their paycheck. Some of this stuff is over their pay grade. They don't have time for it. They're sitting there like, I don't want no trouble. I don't want to deal with this. So they're just trying to get day by day. So when you're talking to a person like that, they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. You're talking to an administrator or the clerk of the court. 9 times out of 10, if they don't study law and they don't have no degree and they don't have that civil and human rights knowledge, they're going to violate the rights that you're not standing on when you come into a court. That's why I don't go into court, because it makes sense to me. To me, my common sense go to, why am I going to those people to talk to them when, one, they're public with their public laws, they got public rules, regulations they have to follow. Why would I go through all that? Why would I hire an attorney or a lawyer when I already can do what they can do? If they're administrating something, I can administrate it. If they're the trustee of something, I can be the trustee of it. It doesn't make sense for them to do it if I can learn how to do it myself. And it's all going to be back and forth with accounting. You break it down to its finest points. A lot of people make it more complicated. Is this: if you're on your private side and every contract you get, you sign or you correct or you edit that contract and send it back to the departments, not to the company. Why would you send it to the company? This is what I have to say about when people say, well, you send it to the company. The company already made the terms and conditions with you that you signed, and you signed with an open endorsement. So you already came to that conclusion. Now you're coming back to tell this company, oh, I don't want to do that. I want to go with another offer. Of course they're going to say no. They're not going to be like, yeah, change my offer and make it more beneficial for you. No, they're not going to agree to that. So now you got to take it to the upper people that they send their paperwork to. Whoever they're sending their paperwork to, that's who you're sending it to. And you're going, I am not agreeing to this contract anymore. This is not beneficial for me anymore. I would like the terms of this. And like I said on my affidavit, I'll sometimes write, now that I know. Now that I come to that understanding, that awareness, these terms do not fit me anymore. And you're allowed to do that because our life change. We change through times. Some people do it in many ways. Some people go, I want the interest off of the birth certificate, the social security card. Some people go, I want to become a broker so I can pay for the cash they're making the switch. Okay, well, that's another problem I have with contracting that I tell people. Look at it as common sense. You have a broker, right? This broker been doing your contracts in the public since the day you was born. Let's say some of them retired out within 15 years. Here come a new one. He's learning the game. He's learning how to do things. Okay, now they've been doing trustee work, administration work this whole time. You come in and you're saying, I want to do that job that you're doing right now. I may not know what you know, but I'll just do a trial and error. You really think they're going to agree to that without giving up a fight? They've been getting paid off of that. Whatever they're being drawing off of that contract, they created the insurance. They're the creator of that contract. Whatever they put together, and now that you understand it, you're like, I'm going to take it over. No, where I see, and this is just me, you don't have to see it the way I see it, I'm going to create my own contract. I'm going to become the creator. That broker, that judge, that prosecutor, that lawyer, the IRS official, the commissioners, the secretaries, whatever, that create certain contracts, even agencies out there, the DMVs. Why do they have to create a contract for me? Why? Why do I have to I have to get the punishment, or I have to take the craziness of the contract they wrote for me when I could just create it myself? So a lot of people don't want to do that. They hear that and they're like, that sounds bad. But if you've been writing out your signature on all these weird contracts, and they've been like, okay, let's say a mortgage, easy as that. You put in for a mortgage, they've been collecting. You're not even the owner of that. You're the tenant. Now you can't write your own contract to go, hold up, stop the press. Everything is happening. I just read your terms and conditions. I don't like your terms and conditions. Here is my offer, my new contract saying, hey, we both can get the benefits off of this. We can both make out pretty good. I'll make it where we both, and now they can contract back and forth with you until you get the right contract. You don't have to put in your first contract and they say no, and you're like, okay, they said no, I'm going to hide somewhere in the closet. No, when they say no to that contract, get creative. Look at their contract. And why can't it be beneficial for you as well? Join them. Join and talk to them about that, because you made that contract. Now, if it's not reasonable, let's get to the not reasonable contracts. Contracts that just has to be rescinded. Contracts that has to be just redacted. If you have to go that far with that contract, now you're going to the upper department. Now you're going to their bosses and you're going, look, I tried to talk to this mortgage broker here. I tried to talk to your banker here. They're not working with me. Can you guys, look, here's my contract. You got an example of your contract. You're like, this is what I presented to them. They said no. And guess what they're doing? Now you're adding on that attachment to, okay, they're racketeering. They're committing RICO. This is why I said no to this, because I don't want to be a party to this. They're trying to make me a party to RICO. They're trying to make me a party to racketeering. Why would I want to be a party to that? Now, as you are saying that, they're going to see that too. They're not stupid. They're going to go, okay, well, they got a point. They're going to go to them and say, they have a point. Why will we do this? Let's not do this. Let's not create this problem. And they're going to either rescind the contract or create another contract for you to be mutually beneficial, is what it is in contract law. You guys can look it up. Mutual benefit. When you don't have the mutual benefit, why are you still in that contract? You're not causing a problem. Everyone says this to me when they go, I don't want to cause a problem. They caused the problem. They created that contract for you. You signed it with an open endorsement telling them you could do whatever you want with me and I'll follow through whatever you told me. All you're going in and doing is saying, no, I don't appreciate that. This doesn't seem right to me. Now when I sign, I'm signing with a closed endorsement, making it where my rights are protected. As I put earlier, all rights reserved, without recourse, without prejudice, non-assumptive, exempt from levy, trover, special deposit. Why can't I put that on there to protect myself? If you don't put that in to them to change that contract, you're stuck to it. Now, for all the advanced people out here, the people that's been doing this for a while, we know better. We know you don't have to do those contracts in the public if you don't want to. We know that you don't have to do all these things that I'm telling these people, but these are the people that got into these contracts, that got hung up, that they're threatening jail time, they're in court, they're battling it out with a lawyer or not. You have to protect yourself. These are the reasons why they can take you to court, take your kids, all this stuff, because they're going off a contract law. Whatever you signed, whether it's verbal or whether it's written, they're able to do that to you. Now, who out here is saying, which I really want to address this one that popped in my head, whoever is saying when you do claims, whether it's counterclaims, private claims, whatever you want to call them, it's going to go quick. Oh, I put in the two things, a piece of paper, and it just closed it out. I want evidence. I want to see your background. I want to see what status you under. I want to see the paperwork you put in there. Is it none of my business? It sure isn't none of my business. But if you're going to go around and tell people when they're doing something like this, oh, it's just two pieces of paper and put it in. I took, let me see, maybe 3 years, could be 4, to try to settle when I first got into this. And I mean first, back in like 2007, 8, when I came up against like the IRS with taxes, and I had nationals, different standing of status out there where people were calling themselves the nationals. These people actually do the research that I've seen. Everybody else can have their own opinion, but in my opinion, they actually do the research. These people had the hell of a time themselves to deal with the taxes. And when we found a way to do with taxes and you tell other people, they will mess that up for you, because everyone does everything their own way. Now, taxes took a long time. So if anybody out here saying, oh, you put in this paperwork and the taxes go away. No. Because when you put it in, do you know what I heard when I was on the other end of these IRS agents? Okay, what did you put in the memo? Oh, what memo? What's on the instrument? What instrument did you use? I used a money order. Okay, money order should have a memo. What did you put in it? I'm like, I don't know. And they were like, okay, well, you're supposed to put your master file. We don't know where that money is coming from, because there are multiple agencies out here. Even if you send it to the right agency, they're going to tell you you didn't put your master file number on there. Okay, you didn't put your master file number. Okay, so what else is supposed to be put on there? Oh, I got this number for you. It's a number from the IRS that they have, a particular number. So you got to put that number on there. Then they'll tell you, oh, you sent it where? Oh, that's not the place to send it. You got to send it to this place, because this will connect to the master file. But make sure you put your master file number on there. Now, all this I'm hearing myself, and I'm going back and forth. Oh, the master file number is what the IRS have. There's multiple of them, a lot. So, and each agency have a form of master file. But anyway, so they're telling you, you got to put this on here. They're telling you they didn't get your instrument. You were told in one phone call to send it to this location. So you'll send it, let's say, to Fresno. It goes to Fresno. You got tracking on it. So when you get on the phone with the IRS, they'll say, oh, which one did you send it to? And you're like, ma'am, this is the tracking number. You're reading it off. Okay, I don't see that, is what they'll tell you. Okay, well, I sent it here. This is what I was told. Yeah, well, when I'm looking up under your master file, this right here in this information, you'll have to send that to Kansas. Okay. And I got to send it to Fresno. You're saying to send it to Kansas. Well, put your master file number on it. That should help. Okay, now I'm putting my master file number on it. Now, as I've been hearing when people come to me lately, going, oh, I've been discharging, or I've been setting off, or I've been offsetting with 2 pieces of paper, and it was no problem because I heard it from a third party on an SBC group that's all I had to do. Okay, did you ask them how they did it? Did you ask them their status? No. Okay, did you ask them to show you the letter? No. Okay. What did you get from that? Just their word? Yes. Okay. That needs to stop, because to me, it confuses everyone. This is research and development is how I see it. That's just me. I see research and development. If you're doing this and you're putting in 1 piece of paper or 2 pieces of paper to get through to the IRS to get through to the Department of Treasury, to get through to the Secretary of State, to get to anybody. I don't care what department you're talking about. I want to see the evidence, proof, anything you got on that. I spent over 16 hours on the phone with the IRS to get just some simple information, and then I have to turn around all over the place, and I do mean all over the place, just to get some stuff handled. That's not working. So when it goes to liens, there is a piece of paper in the IRS that says release of liens. I told someone earlier, I'll put that on the on my TikTok to show you guys so you can go and find it. I'm gonna put all rights reserved and all that on there so nobody will think I'm trying to, rip off whatever. But you guys can look at that. When people have that, you still do need your balance paid. The IRS sees it as you didn't do your debits and you didn't do your credits. It all breaks down to accounting. When you are doing accounting, they want to see that something's coming from your private bookkeeping and your public bookkeeping, because that's how administration works. That's how trustee duties work. That's how due diligence, due process work, is that you're doing everything. They want to see you doing everything in your power. Now, most of the people I helped with PPP loans, I had to help with, now I don't do tax problems now, because when I would do the affidavit, they would show this. I'll submit the affidavit, help them put it in. Now it'll come back what they owe. Okay. When that comes back what they owe, they will always call themselves and the person will go, oh no, you don't owe anything. You don't. There's nothing showing for you. And they'll come back to me and go, they said I don't owe anything. Okay. You don't owe anything, but yet you got this paperwork saying you do. So what are you going to do about it? They're like, well, they said I don't owe anything. That's it. Okay, you could either do that and get a levy, or you could get in trouble and the tax court can come after you. Or you can sit down, create your ledger, whatever you're going to do with your trust, whatever you're doing. Start making your accounting on all the contracts you've done. Take out your 1099As. Take out all the tax paperwork you need to do and start looking up and researching what have you put out there on your private side of signing underneath those contracts and adding that up. Yes, that sounds horrible. Whoever thinks that anybody wants to do that, that is crazy. Nobody wants to do that work. That's stupid. Why do I have to go back through every receipt, my bank statements, my contracts I signed, all those things I have to do just to tell the IRS, oh, I did it right? You know why we have to do that? Because we wasn't taught in school how truly important it is for your taxes to be settled, that everything ends and begins when you're in commerce with the IRS. No one's going to tell you that. No one's going to say that to you. And why? Because you owe those taxes. Okay, you're in court. You're in anything, child support, CPS. Believe it or not, it's dealing with taxes. It's dealing with your status. It's dealing with how you are set up. If you're not set up properly, that is all the money they're accumulating that they can get on their side, that they can say, I can get more money because they're ignorant. I can get more money because their status is not set up properly. Oh, I can get more money. Yes, you can discharge. Yes, you can. You can discharge, set off, offset all day long without a status. You could do all of that because they want you to correct your books. And don't make it sound like I'm saying they're the bad person. No. They're sitting back there just accounting for what you are doing. And let's say, I'm going to just make up anything, but let's say car dealership out there just sent them 10 contracts that you signed. Let's say the food place, you got receipts. You didn't send in none of those receipts. None of that was accounted for on your end. None of it. So when they pull you into court, that's what they're saying. They're saying, you're in debt. You owe us a lot of money. That's all they're saying. And now here comes your side of the accounting. So let's say you sit down with a ledger, you put all that stuff together, you're making out your bills, you're telling them, okay, here's that contract. I don't agree with this contract. I'm disputing this contract. I got an abatement on that contract. Okay, they now get to go in there and fix those books where they're accusing you of something, saying you're doing something wrong, and now it's fixed. Not telling you, oh, and people go, well, every receipt, every one of them needs to be accounted for. We throw those away. Every time we go shopping, some of us just throw them in the trash or throw them wherever they can. We don't account for none of that. All of that has to be accounted for. So by the time you have the inconvenience of being pulled into court, they can see, oh, wait, this person take care of their books. I can't walk all over them for that. Oh, bye, Billy. Thank you. Thank you, everybody that came in. Thank you for that. So you don't want, as they say in the SBC world, you don't want just to put in the SBC side. I wouldn't want to put that SBC side in just myself. You don't want to do that all by itself. You want your side of the books because they could be lying. They can make up anything against you. They can say you're doing anything. They could go, she made that contract. She owes us $50,000. You're like, where did $50,000 come from? They're creating that taxable event for you. Everything becomes a taxable event, no matter what it is. I don't care if it's a ticket. I don't care what you're accounting. It's all tax. And then where did tax come from? It's all accounting. It's all debits and credits. It doesn't look that way. Like I said, it's a circus. Everyone got their clown suit on to distract you from it's the IRS. The IRS is the one that got all the paperwork. The IRS is the one that tells people what they owe. The IRS is what people are doing money laundering for and tax evasion for because they don't want to have to do all that stuff. It's the IRS. Now, let's say you're dealing with the IRS. All you have to do is correct the books and then submit with an offer, of course, because like I said, when you're doing a contract, everything is an offer. You're saying, hey, IRS, here's an offer. This is what I can't afford. Here's my payment plan. And let's say they dragged you into court. Make that offer still. If you make it through the court, because they're the administrator, keep in mind that court is administrating for you. They're saying you don't know what you're doing and you haven't been knowing what you're doing to this point. So that's why they're doing it, because they're taking over the position you're supposed to be in, because evidently you didn't know your position. And that's why they're doing it. Otherwise, they wouldn't have a leg to stand on because you're doing everything. You're correcting everything. But they have that leg to stand on because they're like, where's your books? Where's your ledger? What company are you under? What's your status? What is your goal? They don't know anything. They don't even probably know who you are. So we go around not knowing anything, unfortunately. And they take advantage of that to say they won't. Who's out there under what authority to say they can't take advantage? There's good and bad people in this world. There's a balance. So I don't use other people's work. I can't use other people's work. You know why? Because that's the one thing that shows that you know what you're doing. When you go around and follow other people, listen to what they got to tell you, tell the people what somebody else regurgitated. They know that. You don't think they're in the groups like what Corey said earlier? He made a good point. There is a lot of people out here watching you, and they're agents. And they're seeing what you're regurgitating, what these people are doing. They're sitting here going, oh, they're just repeating back. They don't even really know. And they test you on it. I've been tested so many times, you guys wouldn't understand. There's people that have been around me that says they wouldn't believe what I was telling them unless they see. If they didn't see it for themselves, they wouldn't have believed it. They had to be there to see it because I told you they will test you. I don't care what status you're in, how important you are. Look at Donald Trump. He's a president, or that last president, and they tested him to no ends. And you don't have to like him. You don't have to care about him. But they still test everyone. They will go, what are you standing on? If he didn't have nothing to stand on, if he was just as ignorant as the rest of us and he didn't have the team he had, he'll be facing as much problems as we're facing. but he's still got those people to set the record straight. That's all we need to do. Set the record straight. The record is accounting. Let them know what you're standing on. Let them understand where you're coming from. Now, if they don't have that, what do you expect them to do? They're going to walk all over you. They're going to administrate for you.
Kiki, is it fair to say, because of just from the conversations that we're having, it's like we've done something wrong. We to not know this because it's not a part of mainstream or us being taught this or any courses or classes, we've been completely misled. So it's like people are like, if you don't know this, then it's your fault. But come on, this is mainstream. And even with the lives that are going on TikTok now, you guys do realize a very small percentage of us even know this information still. Even though it's more than it used to be, we're still a definite minority. Just knowing this little information, this system, it's corrupt. And they did this so they could take complete advantage of our life and keep us in slavery. Do you guys see?
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 1,000%. Yes, it does, but in their eyes, we did do something wrong. You know what they see it as, how we're doing something wrong, because this is how they see it. Our parents did not pass this down. They're going, that's not our fault. Our parents did know about this, our grandparents. I'll say that. Let's be fair. Our grandparents knew about it. Their grandparents did not pass it down to them. Now, that's up to individual parents, individual person, because they could be taught this and they can go, I ain't doing that, you know? So if we're going to be in equity is fairness, let's see it this way. There's a petition that brought you into court, right? Someone called you into court. They're seeing it as it's a debt. A debt hasn't been paid. Okay. So if a debt has not been paid, they're holding you accountable for not knowing basic accounting. They're holding you accountable for not being taught. They're holding you accountable for not understanding the terms that they put on the website. So they're saying, if you don't understand all that, you should have a lawyer. But that's even worse. Like you said, I'm going off of what you just said. They bamboozled us with that lawyer, because we get a lawyer, we're consenting to we're stupid, basically. We're going, no, we're dumb. We don't know what we're doing. Because this proves it in our actions by getting an attorney or a lawyer. I'm not saying anything bad about lawyers and attorneys. Please do not come for me. I am not trying to dog y'all out, because some of y'all just, because girl, these lawyers will be coming after me on these messages. But what I'm saying is this: lawyers are doing their job, what the ABA, what the membership, their private membership, what the courts tell them to do. And sometimes when these lawyers go against the court, they will bash them, they will slander them, they'll put them all up in the newspaper. This lawyer went against, and what do though? We believe it. We'll see something, not all of us is gullible, but we'll hear it and go, oh, that lawyer did something wrong. So to a degree, they feel like we're compliant to what is happening. That's how they see it. They go, if you wasn't compliant, you would be like headstrong on learning. For instance, when I came up, I was looking at all the stuff that people were saying and going, this don't sound right. This ain't adding up. Something ain't right. And I need to figure it out. And I need to understand why this isn't right, why this isn't adding up in my head. They expect us all to act that way. They expect us all to go, okay, you're using terminology, for instance. Like, I use this terminology. I know the correct terminology, but I use this for the people that are new, that don't understand anything of what it's saying. Is understand, overstand. I understand that. I understand that, and I overstand that. But talking to other people like that, they're going to be like, what? That's going to be considered legalese to them. They're going to be like, wait, what do you mean? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I say stuff like that, I'm trying to bring the awareness only to the people to go, please wake up to, what's happening right now by using the terminology you can understand. But if I'm talking to someone that's on that level that knows what I'm saying, I'm not going to be like, you understand? I'm going to be like, do you overstand? Do you understand? Talking to them like that. Yeah. That's kind of what the courts are doing. The courts are doing the same thing. And we're not seeing it that way because we've been busy being bamboozled and beat up and hurt. Some of us, unalived and all those other things.
Did you were you angry because all of us, I can remember the day when any of this information was first brought to me. And when you finally realize the fraud that has been perpetrated, and you look at the generations and generations of your family that worked so hard to just create a space and a living for themselves, it makes you very angry. Because this was willful concealment. They met on Jekyll Island and created the Federal Reserve. I mean, all of this is so much that was done in concealment, and it was done on purpose. So when you think about the lives that have been destroyed and people losing their homes. I was a mortgage broker, and in 2008, when the financial collapse took place, damn near everybody I know lost everything. It was really a really bad time in the country, and to know that that the people didn't have to lose anything. It's just very evil what they do to us in society. It's just very evil.
Yes, it is. Did you ever look up Nikola Tesla? Did you ever look up his story? Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
And the way he died.
Same thing with him. Right. They stole. They talked about him. They mistreated him. And he even spoke out about it. I have it all over my Facebook page for that reason. Is because we're getting that same treatment, and to think we're not, even if we become the creator. Yes, I was pissed. Believe it or not, my mom died saying all she wanted to do was own a home. But this was the key about her wanting to own a home. She found some, I don't know if it was legislation about the free home, that your first house is for free. She held on to that to the day she died. And that killed me, and that put a fire that you wouldn't believe. I say fire, it lit me up, because all she wanted, the one thing she wanted in this life was to own her own home. And the best she could get was through HUD. That was the best she could get. And it really tore me up to know into all this, what my grandmother showed and what I started learning. It really bothered me, because I'm going, they're sitting back and hiding paperwork. If you find it, because as soon as I found it, I finally did. And I was like, I was naive and stupid thinking they were going to do the right thing. I was like, here is the proof. I want the first house for free. Went back there, they took it down. And I was like, and it was old. It was very old. It was one of the pages, how old it was. If it was white, it turned yellow. So it was old, but I found it. And I was pissed. I was like, it took me years to find it. And I couldn't believe what they did was hid that as soon as I brought it to attention. Yes, I screenshot it, but then my phone got hacked magically. And I kept trying to change. I put it in my email. It kept changing my email, and they kept shutting it down, like they were following the course of where I was saving it, because I was telling everybody, you did not ever have to go under HUD. Never had to follow what HUD was saying, where they changed the terms after that to, you get this. They went to the first-time home buyer program. They went to that because of the fact that was present. First-time home buyer program was not buyer. You could actually get your house for free. And they made sure that was not going to be out there anymore. There was not going to be any proof. Whoever came forward, they was going to make them look like a fool. And that's what hurts. I can't tell you, I really, really wanted to find that again. And when I went to look again, and I was like, it's gone. I was defeated. I felt defeated. Because I don't think in any place in this world, when something is there and they put it in place for you to have something that is anybody's rights, whether it was just a basic agent or it could have even been a higher up to go, we don't need that, or tell them it's old, that doesn't apply right now. That, and it brings the just the fire out of you. I was very upset. Yeah. It is wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, you was gonna say something, TT?
Nope, I'm done, Kiki. But yeah, I was just wondering if you ever felt like that, if anybody else has.
Yeah,
Quick,
and
thanks for having me up here.
Oh, no problem. Thank you, Freedom.
Yep, y'all have a good one.
You too. So what I say was with this, if you guys make sure that everything you do, you get copies, screenshots, save them in multiple places. Is there agents? Heck yeah. Heck yeah. They're all everywhere like, what did they say? They got this? Okay, run over there and grab that. Okay, they found this? Okay, run over and remove that. You know, I believe that. I don't want to say that's possible. Yes, when you're a child, you want to be, think.
That's exactly what they do. It's like the minute we figure something out, then they move the goalposts.
Yep, they do. And it's sad. It's really sad because when you do figure it out, especially with like the GSA, when people start figuring out the GSA, they start taking that down because they said it was abuse. They said they were abusing it. They had the housing for the rentals, everything. They was like, oh no, that's for the federal. That wasn't for you guys. And then next thing you know, they took it down. It also, and I hate to say this, and I'm not trying to get into anything political whatsoever, but it does play a part. Whoever come in office, for instance, some people don't think this, which is scary. Some people go, well, Democrats and Republicans. Okay. I have always seen when it was Democratic, it was more removing of the data. It was more restrictions. You're not going to get a hold of that. Why? Because I, like I said, I take notes. I always take notes of things, and I always screenshot everything. And I make sure that when I screenshot stuff, I put dates, times, and I attach like newspapers. I put clipping, all of that.
They need the dependence on them to be maintained. That particular party. I agree. I agree.
Yes,
I've seen
agree.
exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, but you know what makes me angry about some of this stuff?
And I do.
Kiki?
Yep, go ahead. Hi, Aiken.
How you doing? You know what makes me angry about some of this stuff is there are people, these are people, okay, that are sitting in these offices that they ain't got any more than we do. I mean, I've seen, I've been down and out, because of being sick and what have you. And you go into these places and these people ain't got, they're employees. They don't have that much either, but they will fight tooth and nail to keep everything from you.
So true.
It's
true.
like, they don't, it's not like they're millionaires guarding their money. It's, they're working by paycheck just like us, but they'll tell them what to do and they'll go do it like little dogs. Go do it. Yeah. Go get that page and shut it down. You're only making, $50,000 or maybe $30,000 a year, but that's all right. You just go get it done, little dog.
Yeah, they will do that to people, and that's what's sad. I hate that because they will listen to them and won't put in their conscience, well, why are they taking this down? Especially if you read it or they're about to do something like take down a page or something. What does this person have to do with it? But they're not going to mess up their jobs. Like I said earlier, I got my little 9 to 5. I need to get paid.
Well, and it's just like this too. I mean, this is a different subject, and I just get on my soapbox about it because I'm prior military, I'm a veteran, and what have you, and whenever you see these, thank you, you're welcome. You see this thing. I was in the Air Force, and you see these contrails, these chemtrails and stuff. You see these things, and you think to yourself, who is in those planes? Who's flying those planes doing that to their own people?
That's true. That's true.
I mean, it's all a thing of, we've got to unite, and everybody, got to get together, and I mean, to be honest with you, it's like, I'm just now getting into this, Kiki. You guys have helped me see this stuff and what have you. You were talking about having a house. I'm a veteran and I don't have a house. I've never had a house. I mean, you wouldn't believe, it was almost like I was earmarked for somebody to kick me around all my life. And I've been kicked around the whole time, to be honest with you. I've had, I don't know if you guys, not too many people believe in the supernatural, but I'm going to tell you right now, I've had crazy stuff happen. I mean, very crazy stuff happen, but I don't have a house and haven't had a house, even being a veteran. So.
You know what? What's even sadder is when you go through the UCCs and they stop this. They actually stop this. When people start seeing that the politicians and all those people up in a certain level of government, they were only putting $10 down on their house and they had their house. I didn't see no mortgage or nothing attached. And then when you did see some that was in a lower government that did the $10 attachment, the mortgages was low as I don't know what. They paid them off. It says, always say satisfaction of mortgage in theirs. How come? Why is it less people getting that satisfaction of mortgage? But if you look through the politicians, lobbyists, everything like that, and they in certain, I would say states, you can look this up, but not in all of them because they start stopping people from posting that going, wait, I don't see no mortgage with this. I see a $10, whether it was a silver certificate or whether at the time, because you can go back, usually back in the day, you can go way back in the files on this. But you can look up and see that they only have a $10. Where's the mortgage? Where's all the stuff we're going through? Where's all the money that, we supposed to have to be able to have a satisfaction of mortgage? I don't think that's fair.
When the financial collapse took place in 2008, we found out that it was so many congressmen and women that
I'm talking about football.
The president of Countrywide Loans, I forgot what his name was. He was an Italian guy, but did all of their loans. And they had low interest rates. Some of them had 0% interest rates. He did all types of fancy tricks to secure their mortgages from them, and it was all people in Congress. That's when they started getting exposed, and that's when that really made it stark what took place. And then they voted for the $700 billion TARP bill to level up these banks. It was so atrocious, and I don't think people understood all of that nonsense about too big to fail. What happened in 2008 was the biggest wealth heist I've seen in my time. And that was taking everybody. That was really. I had 3 colleagues that committed suicide during that time, because if you remember, whatever your mortgage was, everybody you were upside down. So if you had a $600,000 mortgage, overnight that mortgage probably became worth $350,000. I mean, that it was worth $350,000, but they still wanted you to pay on the $600,000. So, and all of the different, and as a broker, they came in there, you guys, with all these different programs and these teaser rates and these adjustable rate mortgages, and people, they were advertising them all over TV, and people wanted to come in there. And when I would tell people, said, nope, go with a fixed rate. Well, it says here we can get this. I mean, it was a big coup. It was a big coup before Bush left, before he left office, him and Hank Paulson, Secretary of State at the time. But that was one of the worst times in my lifetime that I've seen in this country. And it's just...
Wasn't that when David Wynn Miller did the syntax grammar on all those mortgages?
I'm not sure, but I do know that we had some congressmen and women that went on the congressional floor and told people to make them produce the note, and they were telling their citizens not to get out those houses. And that's when the whole thing of make them produce the note came up, because at that time we knew they couldn't, because they've sold it and packaged it and did a million things with it. And that's when I saw some true patriots as far as congressmen and women that came out on the floor and stood up for their constituents. And they were saying, don't leave, make them produce the notes, fight. They were encouraging us to fight at that time. It was not a lot, but there were some.
That was when David Wynn Miller come up, and all that housing bubble and all that stuff. That's David Wynn Miller caused that. He started all that by syntax. He did syntax grammar on started doing it on all the mortgages. And then people started going in there and saying, nope, not paying this, and what have you. And then that's whenever they said, well, if we're not going to get our way this way, we'll just get our way that way. We'll just collapse the whole thing.
Yeah, and that's what they did. Yeah.
Yeah, during that time, that's when I started kicking in, trying to figure out. I started way back in, like, I'll say 2010, or I'm trying to think. I noticed it with my ex-husband's mortgage was 2007 or 8, somewhere around there. But then around 2010 and 11 is when I kicked in to do the claims on the mortgage, to say, what are they going after? And then I started noticing the land. I started paying attention to the separation, the compartmentalizing of everything, from the titles and the escrow, the servicer, the banker. And I said, okay, I got to keep this simple. And I had to go all the way back to the beginning. And I looked at the land and I said, who's got the first claim on the land? And the majority went to Illinois. The Bureau of Land and I forgot management. So when I dealt with that and I seen that, I said, oh, so the people don't even have the first claim on the land. Okay, so they're making them tenants, not owners. And not only, and so I had to implement it. I had to put it into play myself. I said, let me do it. Let me do it without the realtors, without the brokers, without anybody, because I wanted to see for myself how it would work. Okay, so when I did it, it erased everything. When I executed for the very first time, it took it off of payroll, it took it out of the MLS. Wow. It took it off of everything, and I was blown away. I was like, hold on. So come to find out, what I was thinking is, the mortgages, if I could do that with obtaining that claim that I did, let me see about the foreclosures. So the very first, and I mean the very first one I did, it took apart that mortgage, as in it was compartmentalized. Well, it showed it. The proof was in it, because then there was 2 different checks that showed up for the person I did it for. And I did it for free because I was just doing research for them. And it was like, I wanted to see what I did for the first claim, would it work on someone's house? So I even put it into the IRS and said, I'm doing research and development. I want to see how they put all these mortgages together and how they were able to make this contract where they make the person the tenant, and it started making sense to me. But to me, too many hands was in the pot. that got greedy is what happened. I started seeing there was a lot of greed there. So what did I do is I took their foreclosure, like their mortgage. I had to take everything. When I say everything, I had to take from the beginning of when they started that first contract all the way to the paperwork when they ended up in court. And what I did was take all of that paperwork and compartmentalize for the payment, because it's the note that they're saying. Now they're saying the note wasn't paid off, that it was directed back to them, not to the person. It wasn't in their interest, in their benefit. So I said, okay, well, let me add, if you add your new contract, that person had a new contract that's saying that that was their house, that they were allowing the person to get their house, but they did not come to those terms and conditions because they created RICO and racketeering and all those things. So I had to add why they created their new contract. Then I had to add the gold and the silver because it was in a state. And I did put on here why that is. Let me see if I can real quickly pull that up.
Wow, Kiki, you did. Okay, so you did all of that when you with the mortgages. You pieced that together from your research.
Yep. I went through it step by step with everyone. Okay, let me see if this one's it. Right here, lawful money. Let me make sure I got the right one. Right here. Okay. In my research, I seen it says currency mean coin and paper money of the United States or any other country which is designated as legal tender and which circulates and is customarily used and accepted as a medium of exchange and country of issuance. Currency includes United States silver certificates, United States notes, and Federal Reserve notes. Currency also includes official foreign banknotes that are customarily used and accepted as a medium of exchange in a foreign currency. These two statutes clearly state that any and all legal tender and or any and all medium of exchange of any kind from all foreign currencies may be used as currency, but not gold or silver. This is absolutely bona fide evidence that any one operation under these statutes are not a government entity, but a private corporation. So go down to here where it says the definition below of dollar. Money, a silver coin of the United States of the value of the 100 cents or 10th part of an eagle. It weighs 420 and a half grams. Of 1,000 parts, 900 are of pure silver and 100 of alloy. Now, when you skip down to this one, it says issuance to reserve banks. Sorry, you guys. Nature of obligation, redemption. Federal Reserve notes to be issued at the discretion of the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System for the purpose of making advances. Keyword. That should be looked up in the definition. Everybody know what advances is, but that is a key word. Advances to Federal Reserve banks through Federal Reserve agents as hereinafter set forth and for no other purposes are authorized. The said notes shall be obligation of the United States and shall be receivable by all national and members banks and Federal Reserve banks and for all taxes, customs, and other public dues. They shall be redeemable in lawful money on demand at the Treasury Department of the United States in the city of Washington, District of Columbia, or at any Federal Reserve bank. Does the statement for no other purpose are authorized mean private civilians are never supposed to use or have Federal Reserve notes in their possession? That is the key right there. Now, when I seen that, in my research, I went and used with a private offer directly to the Treasury for those homes, and those homes got wiped. And not only wiped, they got their money back. So, and they got the check in the mail, and they called me and said, what do I do with this? I said, I don't know. I was just doing research. I just wanted to see if it worked. And it worked. So when it worked for that, and I think when I did the other 2 research after that, they caught on to it. When they caught on to it, they was like, oh, no. She's not going to keep doing that. So what I had to do was start attaching things like this to, and also, let me show you the other attachment that I had to send to them. Right here. Also with the mortgage, the term with mortgage. It's a form of debt slavery. I put that on there to show them and say, look, I'm breaking this down to its smallest points to you guys. This is not fair. What I am looking at, you guys are not moving in good honor or good faith. I would just want for these people to get the help and assistance they need. By bringing up that as an attachment and then showing them the first claim on the land, which I pulled every record I could. When I say every record, I went to the library, I went to the archives, I told them to send me their, because where the state, they have, what is it called? Homestead exemption. I even sent that in. And I let them know, and I said, all these things are here. None of these things are being used. They're saying to me they never claimed it. That stuck with me even to this day. When you don't put anything and you don't claim it, they said you never claimed it.
Wow.
And if you don't claim it, they see it as you don't deserve it, or you don't want it, or you don't need it. So there's things out there that was just sitting there, and they see it as it's not our position. They used to, though. Back in the day, they used to go, oh, do you want to claim this and this and that? Or do you want to add this benefit? You know, back in the day, I remember them doing that. But now, they won't even tell you if it's there. If there's something to benefit you, they'll sit there and know about it and won't say anything. And if you don't claim it, they see it as it's not their obligation. Yep.
They won't say
there you
words.
go. Yep. So they see it as you have to claim it. Yep. Let me see here. Hold on. I think if you don't claim it, yes, they claim it as abandoned. You are so right. If you don't claim it, now it's abandoned.
So then we're back into the taxable event where they can just file a 1099-A.
There you go. Boom.
Here we go. Yeah.
That's how you end back up into the public. That's how you end up claiming and becoming taxable, where everybody's like, it's taxes all over the place. Of course it is, because you put your status, you put that procedure, you didn't claim what you were supposed to claim. None of that is there. So they're able to tax the craziness out of you because they see you as a corporation. You're supposed to be taxed. That's how they see it.
Abandoned property. Yeah, I see. Wow.
That's what's scary about this whole thing. So I started from the beginning of someone sitting there with their bills in front of them saying, what do I do with these bills? And then I work my way up to now the accounting and the housing. If there's any questions about that, just let me know, because it's insane what is happening, but there's a reason. There's always a reason why this is happening. And yes, they do see it as that's not my job. That's not my obligation to tell them what to do. It's not my responsibility to tell them this is the truth and educate them on anything. That's how they see it. And if they don't see it as it's their obligation, it's their business, as some people say, that's none of my business. Well, if they don't see it as it's none of their business, because if you're in the corporate world, most corporate people I've been around, I don't know about other people, there are some good people, I'm not saying they're not, but most of the corporate people I've been around is out for themselves. They're gaining off of somebody else's back if they can. So why would this be any different? They're gaining off our backs. We're all corporate. We're all sitting here in ignorance to them. And they're going, well, if you don't collect it, we're going to collect it. I made this contract. I'm the creator. So why would I help you out when I'm helping myself out? And if you don't come and dispute anything, why would they stop?
So it's like, well, you left your cookies on the table. Let me grab them.
Right. Yeah. Right, and they're eating them too. They're getting more. They're like, you got any more? I thank you for the first one. I want more.
Yeah.
This is sad though, you guys, and I am very empathetic to it because I sit there, like I said, with my mom. I wish she was still here where I could go, Mom, you was right. I found it. You know, she was looking for it forever, and I ended up finding it when she passed on, but I still fought for it, even though they hid it. Yeah, it was a defeat, but at the same time, I figured out how they're doing housing. Yeah, they can still fight me on the housing thing, but I know how it works front to back. But how they're doing it, the mortgages and stuff, yeah, I see how unfair it is. They compartmentalized everything where you can't put it all in one big package to figure it out, and that's the key, you know? So, yeah, that's so true. So beneficiary. Oh, that's so sweet. I needed to hear that. My mom, some people do say that she's still with me and, you know, she might be, you know, guiding me. And I do believe that because some of the stuff that I figured out, it was starting with her, like, all she wanted was a house. How could you guys do this? And then it ended with me finding out how to do claims with court and helping people with CPS or helping people with child support, helping people in court, beneficiaries with trust, doing trustee work. It just led me down that path where I never thought I would go. And I am a researcher. When I say I'm going to figure it out, if you give me the chance to figure something out, I'm going to figure it out. I know contracts like the back of my hand. I'm going to read it. I'm going to understand it. And I'm going to see that it says, like I'm putting up here, there's one other one I want to put up here for you guys. It's from the United Nations. Oh, this is not showing really good, actually. I got a lot of these things on here that's not showing. Let me see. I want to give you guys... Oh, so some of these, they're not showing. Okay. Right here, with people going to court. Yeah, it is. I got shadow banned so bad, you wouldn't even believe it. When I first came out with this, and I was like, look, everyone, I figured it out. They were like, no, you didn't. Don't go away. They banned me so across the board. I was like, wow, they wanted me to shut up quick. Okay, at the top it says affidavit of truth and fact. Indeed, no more than an affidavit is necessary to make a prima facie. Some people say it different. Like I said, I'm a butcher a word. Give me a chance. Case. So down here, now I'm saying it about affidavits because I tell everybody to write an affidavit, and that's why. Okay. Now, in the private, you are always supposed to write an affidavit. An unrebutted affidavit stands on as truth in commerce. An unrebutted affidavit becomes the judgment in commerce. You guys, some of these key words, as they say, stands as truth in commerce. Go back to becomes the judgment in commerce. Okay. Why would you not write your own affidavit? Whether it's court, whether it's anything, if they even tell you, oh, that ain't gonna work. Don't put that in here. Don't put it in court. Don't. Put it in the departments where it's supposed to go. Oh, Tanya, you're so sweet. Yeah, so right down here, it says, pursuant to the Constitution of the United States and Article 1, Section 10, reads, no state shall coin money, emit bills of credit, make anything but gold and silver a tender in payment of debt. This makes it clear that only constitutionally lawful forms payment of debts are gold or silver coins. That's what I do. Every time someone comes to me in the state, which the state of Michigan will do it, and they'll try. You can spend your time fighting. Sometimes I'm like, let me give you your coins, you know. Michigan, here you go. You're going to look out for me because you've been administrating, you've been trusteeing, you've done a good job with me because I came out early, and Michigan did not go against me. I have nothing wrong with those administrators. When I say Michigan, I'm talking about the trustees, the administrators. They didn't do me wrong. And somebody else maybe, but not me. Okay. Now, I like how Michigan, they held me down. I'll say that. Because I had some people come after me. They was like, no, thank you. Don't do that. Okay, right here it says, any form of currency issued by the United States Treasury and not the Federal Reserve, including gold and silver coins, treasury notes, and treasury bonds, lawful money stands in contrast to fiat money, to which the government assigned value, although, here come that word I can't do, it has